And so please describe to me what the aesthetic look is exactly.
Well, like this guy here.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and bring
Oh wow, you really have to come in here?
like this guy.
Is this
No,
is this really happening? He met the other guy behind you, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm right into that bad boy.
You can stay right there, behind the camera, behind the camera. No, see now that you got me jealous now.
That's okay.
That's not
so
fair.
You're more in the category like Luther Arnold, okay?
My man. Yeah. Arnold Ferrigno. Huh?
Okay.
Aesthetic.
That's great, partner. You two ever go outplace everything in its proper place?
That does not make sense, but we usually do go, we head to Kroger's. And we work.
Oh, yeah. I've got a lady waiting for me back home also. She has the most beautiful scrotum. Oh, God. And when she sings, she sounds just like a puppy dog. How do you nail a photo?
Just gotta get in the mode. You gotta talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes. You
Okay,
gotta
so
have the eyes
can
first.
you show me a little bit of something, like to this camera? I would love to know how to do this. I just want to know.
Well,
How
I
do you do it?
mean,
Teach
the
me
smile,
something.
You can get the sexy eyes. Then you know you gotta get the smile going on some shoes, but you know.
Wait, hold up.
You got.
I gotta
when
try
it's
this
time,
with
when,
you.
it, when it's
Hold
time
on.
to laugh,
I gotta try
you
this
gotta
with
think
you.
of something funny
All
and
right,
start laughing.
do it again. Do it again. How do you do it? Teach me.
Sexy eyes.
The sexy eye.
This is sexy eyes right here.
Smizing?
Smile.
So you're smizing.
Smile.
Okay.
And then you gotta get the.
No, I look like I need to take a poop or something.
I wish words were like little toy guns. No sting, no hurt, no one, just a bang, bang. Right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a bang,
Toy
bang,
guns.
rolling off your tongue.
Toy guns.
It's no smoke, no
Bang,
bullets.
bang. Water guns. All right.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. What's up, everybody? Okay. There's a lot going on, y'all. And as you already know, and if you already can see the top title for today, we're going to be going through some stuff today. So I'm hoping that you guys are all having a good evening. And if you guys are anywhere, if you guys are in any city where the protests are happening, all I can say is I hope you guys are having a safe one. Okay. On some real stuff, the protests aren't going to stop anytime soon, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't be ending anytime soon. There's a lot of different things that have been going on. One, we're going to be talking about the autopsy, the independent autopsy of George Floyd, which is a very, very fascinating one. It's really fascinating, y'all. Like, I'm going to be straight, completely funky with all of y'all. This autopsy says a lot about what we're going to be doing in regards to like the next step forward, what we're going to be doing in regards to what the right thing to do is, I guess. And especially like when it comes to what they're planning on doing in the upcoming days with the other officers, and especially with former police officer Derek Chauvin. So I'm very intrigued to throw this out to you guys and hear what you guys think in regards to all this, because there's a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, there's some new news that just been dropped. We're going to be talking about that very, very shortly here. But of course, I have to say there's also the address that Trump just gave out just a little bit less than an hour ago, which I'm definitely interested to go through that with everybody and talk about that. He is talking about he's been threatening, and it looks like he's going to be deploying military in Washington, D.C. if these riots and these protests do not subside at any at any point right now. So we have a lot to talk about. We got a lot of things to go through. So I'm going to get to it real quick. Okay. So one of the main things that we need to talk about that is the independent autopsy of like what caused George Floyd's death. Now, before there was another autopsy that said something that was saying, oh, it is all because of his pre-existing conditions and the drugs that were in his system, the whole nine, right? Well, there's something completely different here. Experts hired the family George Floyd. Experts hired by the family George Floyd and the medical examiner have concluded that his death was a homicide. Let me say that again. They concluded his death was a homicide. Yes. Got a little video on that. Like to hear it? Here we go.
news conference by Benjamin Crump and the attorneys for the Floyd family. The family has just now released the results of an independent autopsy on George Floyd, showing that Floyd died, quote, as a result of a homicide caused by asphyxia due to neck and back compression that led to a lack of blood flow to the brain.
Say that again? What did you say? Girl, you lying. What'd you say? One more time, please.
As a result of a homicide caused by asphyxia due to neck and back compression that led to a lack of blood flow to the brain, end quote.
Bam.
That is different from the state autopsy performed last week that revealed no findings that asphyxia was the cause of death. Joining our conversation is Paul Henderson. He is the executive director of the San Francisco Department of Police Accountability. He's also a former U.S. attorney. Paul, my first question for you is, this is now a criminal matter. The police officer who killed Mr. Floyd is now been charged with second and third degree murder. How do the two autopsies play into that criminal proceeding?
You better speak on it, my brother. Speak on it.
It plays hugely. Just as a clarification, I was a prosecutor here, not a U.S. attorney, but it's a very similar role. But this really shines a glaring spotlight on the fact that we can't, and communities have not been able to rely on local analysis. And it doesn't make sense that the scientific analysis, which should be objective, seems to be at odds in this case, and it only confirms that there may be a separate track of justice for law enforcement when we look at wrongdoing versus the rest of the community. The fact that we have an independent autopsy indicating a supporting of asphyxia as the cause of death, as if there were real questions from what we all saw in the video, it seems very ominous and probably did not help what the situation was in Minneapolis when the report came out in the first place that's saying that there was no direct link or cause to asphyxia for the cause of death.
I just want to point something out real quick. Ain't that odd? The first autopsy said nothing of the sort. The independent second autopsy said something completely different, actually saying, yes, he was killed by the pressure that was being on top of by those police officers sitting and kneeling on top of his back and neck. Interesting. We have independent autopsy, and then we have their autopsy. Huh. I'm going to let him finish saying what he has to say. Let's go.
And instead, we heard all of this other information about underlying things that could have caused the death, while that seems to fly in the face of what we all saw in the video. The bigger problem is now that that case has not been challenged adequately from the community, we see the case has been removed and presented to the Attorney General's office of the state. And I think this is part of the problem and part of why communities are so frustrated and lashing out in the protests, lashing out in riots, lashing out in all of the gatherings that they have, because we can't wait for other agencies to come in. Some of these solutions have to start at a local level, and we have to ask these very difficult questions about what are the decisions that are being made at a local level in our own communities. We have to bring that to the forefront. This whole autopsy coming forward is only shining the light on why we're having so many problems relying on the justice system that needs to be fixed, and communities are demanding that that happen right now.
There's a lot of corruption going on in the world. Let me just say that real quick. Like you didn't already know, y'all. Like y'all didn't already know. Let me just keep it straight funky with y'all. You know for a fact that this man was murdered by those three officers. Then when they go and do the autopsy, they're like, we got to perform our own autopsy. They say it was not that. They said it was because he had pre-existing issues, and that it was a combination of everything. They said it was a combination of him being, you know, the knee on his neck, and then the pre-existing conditions that he had. But then on top of that, it's the drugs that were in his system because he was high on something else, and blah blah blah. Then when the family says, "Oh hell to the no, we want to see our own autopsy. We are going to have our own coroner examine him independently," and what happens? That mother lover says, "Hey, no. That man basically was choked to death. Asphyxiation. That poor brother died on that street in that video in front of millions of people. And the police department and the powers that be tried to sweep it under the rug and try to make it seem like he was on some drugs, that he had other conditions and all this other stuff. So that's why it's a perfect storm of all these reasons why him dead. No. Oh no. Second autopsy shows something otherwise. I'm going with the independent autopsy. I don't know about y'all. Something ain't right, y'all. Something ain't right. Yes, Ashley Bennett. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. On YouTube, she just Ashley just commented saying the autopsy from the family's doctor was definitely a drop the mic moment. Abso-freaking-lutely. Because you know for a fact, everybody, a part of us is kind of going, hey, can it be like, you know, we all want it to be that. We all want the justice. We all want to see him be seen as an innocent person, as an innocent man, and not just like, oh, he was just hopped up on drugs and that's why he died. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Oh, he was resisting arrest and nah. Therefore, that's why he died. Those are the reasons why he died. No. The man died because he had 3 men sitting on his back when he couldn't get up to breathe. One jerk was sitting there kneeing on his neck. Yo. Thank God they went to the independent coroner and they got a second autopsy. That's how they all should be doing from now on. Real talk. You can't trust nobody anymore, man. You can't. Oh, Bani. Sorry, Bani. Okay. Quill on Facebook. Being high on drugs and resisting arrest shouldn't be a capital offense anyway. Those aren't things we give the death penalty for. That's exactly right. Facts. But what's so funny to me is, like, I was having this conversation just a second ago. And what's funny to me is that if this was a black man doing this to a white man and he was caught on video doing all of this stuff, they would have thrown him under the building. They would have thrown him under the damn prison, under the jail. They would have just buried his ass in there. Piece of cake. Him gone. Piece of cake. But this is what we're at. So now we have to see what the government does, what the law does, because what they need to do right now is charge Chauvin with first-degree murder, and they need to go and get the other 3 cops and throw their asses in that jail too. Those other 2 should be charged with at least first or second-degree murder, and then on top of that, the guy who is watching out for everybody should be getting getting accessory to murder. Now that you have all that, all those things lining up, all those cards lined up, all those dominoes, it's time to knock them mugs down. Real talk. Man, The simplest answer is probably right. To Doggy or to Doogie. You know what? You are absolutely right. Sometimes the easiest thing is laying right there under your nose. So y'all, if it's right there, it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it must be a mother-loving duck. The man was murdered. Murdered. Not, oh, this is an accidental homicide and all that. No, there's no way when you add up all the things together. You look at the time when he got pulled over, he got arrested. He's like, yes, he was reluctant to get out of his vehicle. That makes sense. Any person's reluctant to get out of their vehicle. All right. Then they put him on the side of the road. He's sitting on the side of the road. He's chilling. He's sitting, chilling. The Chauvin is nowhere to be found yet. He's not there yet. Then when they finally move him into the SUV, where you see in the very end he kind of trips and falls, they put him in the SUV, and then all of a sudden Chauvin shows up, and then all hell breaks loose. You tell me what's going on. Then all of a sudden he's sitting there kneeing on his neck, and everybody's sitting there watching this guy, begging him to get to relieve the pressure off his neck, to let him go, let him live. That's murder. I don't care what y'all think. That is murder. Unbelievable. And they were trying. They really tried their ass. They really tried really, really hard to cover that up. You know, for once, maybe things will start working in our favor. For once. They tried to do the same stuff with Michael Brown, Eric Gardner. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. They're saying the same thing with Breonna Taylor. Trying to find any excuse under the sun about this stuff, man. I'm telling you, this needs to stop immediately. By the way, hello, everybody. Hello. Good evening, everybody. Chris Collins. Hello, Chris Collins. Hello, Roberto. T. Doogie, you're brand new here, so thank you for commenting on Twitch. I really appreciate it. Everybody that's on YouTube, Facebook, the whole nine. Ashley Benny, thank you so much for coming in and being for coming in and being a part of the conversation. It really does mean a lot. And there's so many other things that are going on, but yes, you know, these pieces of news, these new pieces of news are just kind of mind blowing. And then, you know, and what's mind blowing is that's what's mind blowing. And it's like, damn right. But then on top of that, we ain't even gotten into what Trump has said recently, which we're going to get into here in a second. But I just wanted to tap into it. And of course, I have the phone lines open. So please give me a call, 314-766-4581. Let me throw that in here real quick in the comments, 314-766-4581. Definitely give me a call. Let me know what you think. I would love to think what you think, or I would love to hear what you think. What do you think? Do you think that they should be getting first-degree murder or no? You know, do you think that they're absolutely in the right or no? Please either comment down below or give me a call. 314-766-4581. Love to hear what you guys think about that, because this is mind-blowing and this is earth-shattering news, and I'm interested to see what the next step is going to happen, because you never know. They might try to put one autopsy against the other one, saying that this one's falsified by this, that, and the other, or vice versa. You never know. They might try to use this as much as they can to try to get Chauvin and those other police officers off. Yet those other police officers haven't even seen anything except for being terminated, except for being fired from their job. They had to pass in their badge and their gun, and that's it. which is ridiculous. That's not enough, in my personal opinion. And I think the rest of the world that is being lit on fire right now would concur. Just a educated thought. Anyway, did the Tano Vane said, did the family show the thing? Did the family one show the same thing as the police autopsy? From my understanding, it was basically the police autopsy was they added a whole bunch of other things inside of that autopsy. The family's autopsy had many things that would make more sense in regards to why and how George Floyd passed. Do you see? So, yes, they did say in the thing, like in the police autopsy, they did say, yes, there was something, where he couldn't breathe, but at the same time, he had drugs in him and he had a pre-existing medical condition that was like the trifecta that made him die. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. Anyway, I do got a phone call. Let's get this. Hey, what's up? You're on the mic with Pascal. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Chris Collins, Illinois.
Hey, Chris, how you doing, my brother? Back at it again, huh?
I wish we were having a conversation about better things, but most definitely these guys are guilty.
Absolutely.
There's one solution I see that needs to come to the table, and that's every police officer, every fireman, every paramedic, they should have at least twice a week a de-stressing of their job so that they do not take out on innocent people their frustrations.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I absolutely totally agree.
By doing that, we can also show that these are human beings. They have a stressful and dangerous job. But as a community, on the other side, we need to come together with a nonviolent way to reach our children, because what we're teaching them right now, they're learning, and it's not good. This is not the answer, and it's going backwards. And we are going to have to now make them understand why it was wrong for what has happened on both sides of the spectrum. But we have a way to reach them. You know about my program. We'll talk about it later in another show.
Absolutely.
But there is a way to do this. But we need to embrace our law enforcement. We do need them because we got a lot of dangerous things going on out there. But we're putting these people in these dangerous positions, and they need an opportunity. And there is that. We know about it. We'll talk about it later, but I just wanted to cover that. If there's anything you want to ask me, I'll answer another question.
Oh, no, it's all good. So, yeah, I think that obviously we are that, like, right now, this is what's going on. I'm just going to say this out loud to everybody, but I'm going to say it to you as well. Because my theory is that they're going to try, my concern is that we have the independent autopsy, right? Now we have the real truth. I feel like this is the real truth, but they're going to try to pin it against the police autopsy and try to have that compete with each other, saying that they're going to both say that each other are corrupt. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, we know that the independent autopsy is not corrupt. And even if we needed a third party on top of that one, the one for the police officer or the police department, that should be null and void. That shouldn't even be counted as evidence. It should never even be brought up in trial, because we're talking about an inside situation of a huge city that we know that things go wrong in, because this is the city that this just happened in, and it happened right in front of every one of our faces. And that's one thing that was I guess I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
Of course.
This is not the way I want George Floyd to be remembered. I want him to be remembered that this is going to be a movement for peace, and I am leading a movement for that. We are going to come together in peace, and we're going to give everyone hope by housing every person on the street and never have them in this situation again.
That's beautiful. And like I said, I mean, you definitely let me know when you're ready to sit down and talk about that, because I'd love to pick your brain in regards to that, you know?
I'm ready whenever you are, brother. You just call me. You got my number.
Right on, man. We'll make it happen for sure. So, Chris Collins, thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate it. Stay blessed, all right?
Thank you, brother. You be blessed, too.
Thank you, brother. Peace. I agree with Chris 110%. There most definitely needs to be some sort of screening. There needs to be some sort of psych eval. There needs to be some sort of way for them to, for the cops and police officers that are out there that are constantly having to deal with putting themselves out in harm's way all the time. There's got to be a way for them to be able to speak about whatever's frustrating them or speak on what's on their minds, and get their frustrations out. Instead of them putting their frustrations out on innocent people. So definitely give us a call, 314-766-4581. Drop a dime. Let me know what you think. What are your thoughts on the new autopsy information? Do you think they should get first-degree murder or no? Comment down below or give me a call. I see a lot of people saying yes, most definitely. It is ridiculous. They should be charged for murder. Ashley Mozingo just said on Facebook. Thank you so much for your comment, Ashley. Eric Vandross, what's up, Eric? How you doing? Good evening. He said, with experience, I could tell he died at the scene. Absolutely. That poor man died right there in front of on camera, right in front of us. And you want to know something? These are the moments. Like I always thought that it would be really annoying sometimes, like when you just see all these videos of people popping up, it's on World Star, this police brutality, so on and so forth. Because obviously, yes, you hate seeing it. It's terrible stuff to see. But then something like this happens and you get to see it all. There is no hearsay. There is no, it was the wind type of thing. Like, there is no way, shape, or form you could change the narrative of what you saw. In point blank range, you see it with your own two eyes what really happened to that poor man. There's no way around it. No way around it whatsoever. None. Like I said, it doesn't matter how many times you fry this egg. Still going to be an egg. Let's see. Vandross, they must get extensive background checks. I totally agree. T. Doogie said, or Tadoogie said, yep. They will question the credibility of who completed the autopsies. Absolutely. I mean, that's the only thing I'm worried about, is that people are going to be on that BS. They're going to be on that F-ish. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I ain't got time for that. And I don't think his family's got time for that. Throw him under the freaking building, throw him under the jail, and call it a damn day. And also charge those 3 other men, because they're just as guilty as Chauvin. That's what I think. It's ridiculous. Mr. T12 said, we all knew what we saw, murder. I think they were scared to overcharge, because we have seen other people get off because they overcharged and the lawyers couldn't convict them. And that's the other thing. I hope that the Floyd family's listening right now at some point in some sort of way. I hope that they find the strongest, most powerful lawyer that they can get, that they can throw the book at these guys. Literally. Because it's always going to be about somebody. There's always going to be somebody, you know what I'm saying, that's going to not be able to fully have enough evidence to fight for them in court, so on and so forth. So I would love to see them just annihilate this dude and get him to be punished within the full extent of the law. Ashley Mozingo, there also needs to be more awareness over racism. I'm white, and I know that I never knew about the racism issue even today until I became close with a black family and we talked about it. They opened my eyes in surreal ways on what they still deal with even today, and that's very true. I mean, and that's the thing. Like to my, I'm not trying to ostracize any person that's watching the show or listening to the show, but to my white listeners, here it is, y'all. If you guys don't fully understand racism, I know it's weird. I know it's a weird thing to go and talk to your black friends or your Asian friends or your black and brown and yellow friends. But sometimes you need to have that question or have that discussion with them, that tough conversation, so that you can understand a little bit of where they're coming from. And I think that's what happens with a lot of people that are watching TV right now, seeing these protests and just passing judgment on it. Or they're just like, oh God, if I have to hear anything black one more time, click. And it's kind of like, no, if you actually have a friend that is black, brown, yellow, sit down, crack a beer, have a conversation with them. Try to understand what they have to deal with on a daily basis. These are the reasons why this is happening right now. Because there is not enough people that are willing to sit down and understand each other. Everyone thinks, oh, because I got my 3 black friends, and I know I say that a lot, but it's true. Oh, I got my 3 black friends, so meh. Oh, I'm not racist. I totally understand the black experience. No, you don't. Just because you got Tito, Michael, and Jermaine don't mean nothing. Just because you go out and have a few drinks with them, do you actually ask them, like, just because you go around and chase girls with each other doesn't mean nothing. Have you ever asked them about their own experience? Have you ever asked them about getting pulled over and all that? These are the questions that need to be asked if you really want to understand fully what's going on outside right now. And I'm talking about the good stuff that's going on outside, the good protesting, the peaceful protesting. So I encourage that. Might feel awkward. It might be a tough question, a tough conversation. But at least if you're opening up your mind and if you're stepping towards that situation with an open heart and an open mind and trying to understand, trying to replace your ignorance with education, we can have a holly jolly Christmas, y'all. Damn. I encourage all y'all to do this, please. Please. The bishop for the Diocese of Washington said they distanced themselves from Trump and disagrees with what he's done wholeheartedly. He didn't even pray when he went to the church. Okay, so yes, we're going to jump into this conversation now because we've already killed this one like, you know what I mean? We got it. Y'all got it. We got it. You understand it. You know what I'm saying? My white listeners, please talk to your friends. You know what I'm saying? Talk to them. That's all I ask. We're going to move on to this next part because Trump is acting a damn fool. Let's just keep it straight funky, y'all. This dude is... I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but it's just, it's crazy. He gives no damns, none, okay? Like my mom would say, no, don't give no damns, okay? He does not give a damn about not nobody. Okay, so we're going to be talking about this really quick because this is something that needs to be done. And Nikki and Debbie, hello, Debbie. The videos there. You can't dispute what we saw. Absolutely. Just real quick, going back to that really quick. Nikki, thank you so much for coming in, Nikki. Good evening. It makes my heart sick over this. Absolutely. You know, Allison, thank you so much for commenting as well. Liam, what's up? Good evening. There are currently many Americans facing some serious cognitive dissonance as they try to deny racism exists. It's exactly right. There's so many people that are out here that are just like, wow. You're really going to deny all this stuff? Like, you need to look into it. And here's the thing, real quick, before you jump into Trump, real quick. There's a lot of people out here that are just lazy. They know what they know, and they just want to keep knowing what they know. They have no interest in trying to understand more. They have no interest in trying, because that requires brain work. That requires them to open their minds, and that burns a lot of brain cells, and they don't like that. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of people like that, and that's on both sides of the spectrum, okay? There's ignorant black people, there's ignorant Asian people, there's ignorant Mexican people, there's ignorant white people. And the funny thing is that we are just lazy. That's the problem. We're lazy. We're stuck in our ways, and we don't want to shake from it because we are scared of opening our minds and seeing what's really true out there. It's all laziness. But if everybody just picked their lazy asses up and walked over and just said, hey, and just talked about stuff, like I said, it'd be a holly jolly Christmas. I'm telling you. We can't say white Christmas because that's racist, and that's a trigger. That's triggers. But anyway, you see what I'm saying. If we all just sat down and talked and really worked on understanding each other, it'd be amazing. Maybe there wouldn't be just Republicans and Democrats anymore. Maybe there'd be a third party. You never know. Like an actual strong third party. Maybe a purple, not red and blue, but a purple. You never know. Something to think about, guys. I know that's radical. That's progressive. That scares people. It requires people to think. It requires people to start working and using their brain cells. But think about it, y'all. Think about it. So let's go over to the conversation that we are having right now. In regards to, because I see in the chats, everyone's already kind of moseying on into the Trump conversation, and yeah, this is real. Oh man, so what's going on right now is Trump is how funny it's a Biden commercial before the video. How fitting, that very good placement, Biden, very good placement. Anyway. Trump went on to, I'm going to start in the very beginning of it all because he had a lot to say. We're going to jump into it just like bit by bit. We're going to hear his speech because we need to hear his speech. There's a lot of stuff that happened. And then, of course, we'll talk about what happened as he was leaving the podium, which was... We're just going to get into it. We're just going to get into it, real talk, because it is wild. Real talk. Here we go.
Of George Floyd. My administration is fully committed that for George and his family, justice will be served. He will not have died in vain.
Okay, so here real quick, I need to go back to it a little bit, because it seems as if he said something about George Floyd right in the very beginning, and it was kind of weak sauce, in my personal opinion. Yeah. So we're going back to that. Hold up.
Death of George Floyd. My administration is fully committed that for George and his family, justice will be served. He will not have died in vain. But we cannot allow the righteous cries and peaceful protesters to be drowned out by an angry mob. The biggest victims of the rioting are peace-loving citizens in our poorest communities. And as their president, I will fight to keep them safe.
Okay, so let me just point something out Just real quick. So in the very beginning, right at the top of the speech, he just talks about George Floyd and the family real quick. Then he just jumps right into everything about the protests and the thugs and all that. He doesn't give a damn about the death of George Floyd. He doesn't. He really does not give a damn. He just said it. He addressed it because he has to. I'm sure his speechwriters said, please, oh, please, oh, please, you have got to talk about this in the very beginning. Please. But he did it, and then he moved on real quick. Not once, he's not sitting here saying anything profound. He's not. Here we go.
I will fight to protect you. I am your president of law and order and an ally of all peaceful protesters. But in recent days, our nation has been gripped by professional anarchists, violent mobs, arsonists, looters, criminals, rioters, Antifa, and others.
So he's angry about all this other stuff that have nothing to do with the Black Lives Matter movement. Okay, so you're mad because you felt threatened. You ran into your little bunker overnight because you felt threatened that all these people, this angry mob, this angry group of people who are all just wanting justice, you're mad about that because you can't control them. So what do you say? Oh, we're just going to call them terrorists. We're going to call them Antifa. We're going to call them everything else under the sun except for the fact that these are people out here that are searching and wanting and demanding justice. I'll continue.
A number of state and local governments have failed to take necessary action to safeguard their residents. Innocent people have been savagely beaten, like the young man in Dallas, Texas, who was left dying on the street, or the woman in upstate New York viciously attacked by dangerous thugs. Small business owners have seen their dreams utterly destroyed. New York's finest have been hit in the face with bricks. Brave nurses who have battled the virus are afraid to leave their homes. A police precinct has been overrun. Here in the nation's capital, the Lincoln Memorial and the World War II Memorial have been vandalized. One of our most historic churches was set ablaze. A federal officer in California, an African-American enforcement hero, was shot and killed.
Had to throw in the African-American there. I'm going to continue.
These are not acts of peaceful protest. These are acts of domestic terror. The destruction of innocent life and the spilling of innocent blood is an offense to humanity and a crime against God. America needs creation, not destruction.
Okay.
Cooperation, not contempt.
Isn't murder a crime under God? Thou shalt not. I'm sorry. It starts with a K. I'm missing it. What is it? Oh yeah, kill. Moving on.
Security, not anarchy. Healing, not hatred. Justice, not chaos. This is our mission, and we will succeed. 100%, we will succeed. Our country always wins. That is why I am taking immediate presidential action to stop the violence and restore security and safety in America. I am mobilizing all available federal resources, civilian and military, to stop the rioting and looting, to end the destruction and arson, and to protect the rights of law-abiding Americans, including your Second Amendment rights. Therefore, the following measures are going into effect immediately. First, we are ending the riots and lawlessness that has spread throughout our country.
How's he going to do it?
We will end it now. Today, I have strongly recommended to every governor to deploy the National Guard in sufficient numbers that we dominate the streets. Mayors and governors must establish an overwhelming law enforcement presence until the violence has been quelled.
Now, I swear to God, that's probably the first time he has ever said the word quelled. I just want to point that out. Thought it was weird. He's never used a very sophisticated word like that before ever in the history of me hearing him speak. That's the first time ever. The other thing is that if you bring out the National Guard, what do you think that's going to do with the country? What do you think that's going to do if every single governor lets out the hounds? One, I'm going to say it's going to be very, very violent. It's going to be nothing but bloodshed. That's one. Those videos that we see all the time of just cops pushing people viciously or tackling them down or all that stuff, that police brutality that we see right now is going to be at times that by 100. And then there's also martial law. Let's just throw that out there. We got to throw that out there. Just a wee bit. Just a tiny bit. That's what he wants, though. Come on now. You know for a fact that's what he wants. I'm going to continue.
If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them. I am also taking swift and decisive action to protect our great capital, Washington, D.C. What happened in this city last night was a total disgrace. As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers.
To me, I'm sorry. This is like dad, like the dad that sits there and goes, "Y'all better eat your vegetables, or I'm gonna go get the belt." That's literally what he's saying right now. I got the most vicious dogs, the most vicious hounds, the biggest type of weaponry, the biggest cannons. You don't want to mess with me. This is literally what he's doing right now, y'all. He's basically going, I'm going to bring in the military. Don't make me do it. If I do it, you'll be sorry. That's literally what he's saying. Eat your vegetables. That's literally what he's doing right now. Come on, guys. Come on. Give me a break. Please forgive me. But real talk. This man wants chaos. He wants this chaos, y'all. Why does he want this chaos? So he can implement something. I have it written down because I don't want to forget this. Gotta love this. What is this? He wants to implement the 1907 Insurrection Act, which permits a president to deploy military inside the U.S. to deal with civil disorder. He wants chaos. You want to know what it is? This is my theory, and of course, you could take it, put it in your back pocket, look at it later if you want, or you could just say I'm crazy, and that's fine. But he wants fear. He wants absolute fear. He wants to shake everybody so scared so that we vote for his ass. He's trying to scare us. That's all he's doing. He wants governors to relinquish their hounds, AKA National Guard, all throughout the country. Then he's going to implement the 1907 Insurrection Act, which allows him to control the military inside the U.S. So then what happens? Martial law. Then everyone's scared. They don't know what to do. Because right now, his track record is trash. absolute trash right now. He looks like a damn fool. People are angry as hell right now. People are sitting there going, you're calling us thugs? Here, there are people still, like shout out to Wood Grain and all that stuff that will sit there till they're blue in the face saying, hey, he's done so much for black people. Oh, boy. Turn on the TV and tell me that he's doing the great things for black people right now. Because what I'm seeing and what I've seen firsthand last night, he ain't doing a damn thing for black people now. So, with that being said, and I'm sure people could argue with me about that till they're blue in the face, but here it is. He doesn't care about us. In fact, he doesn't care about the American citizens, period. He just cares about his own power. So, even after he does that whole speech and he goes, I'm going to relinquish the hounds. Watch out, everybody. What does he do? He walks across the street. And while he's doing that, whilst he is just moseying through his grassy knoll, going over to the church with his Bible, what is his Secret Service and all the freaking cops in riot gear doing? They are shooting plastic bullets and they are shooting mace in protesters' face while he's walking down this grassy knoll like he's taking a stroll, y'all. This ain't him just like hovering over and you know what I mean? There's none of that. He's literally just hands behind his back, just moseying around with Ivanka, just talking about, oh, the weather's very nice today, yeah, that little hint of tear gas is just so becoming of this place. America. No, he's just chilling. And these guys are shooting plastic bullets and shooting mace into the face of his voters, his future voters, just so he could cross the street and take a photo in front of a church, holding a Bible like this. Oh my God, I can't stand this guy. Oh, this is it's like too good. It's almost, I'm sorry. Oh my God. Oh my God, this is our president, y'all. He don't give two damns, yo. He just cares about power. That's all he cares about, son. Everybody's sitting there trying to tell me he does so good for the country. Where's the country at right now? Before any of this happened, he said that the Wuhan virus, this coronavirus, was a hoax, was a lie. And then what happened? Freaking cruises start coming up to the shores of California and on the East Coast and all that stuff with what? The Rona. Then all of a sudden he goes, oh, I knew all along. I knew all along that this was going to happen and blah, blah, blah. Blame China. Blame China. What the hell? This is our dude, man. So then all of a sudden, when somebody is unjustifiably killed, he starts calling everybody thugs, calls all the protesters thugs. You're telling me he cares about us? He only cares about that money. He just cares about him securing the bags. That's all he cares about. Come on, guys. You know for a fact that's all he cares about. Have mercy. The phone lines are open. Please give me a call. 314-766-4581. This president is terrible. I'm sorry. But I guarantee you, he wants to invoke 1807 Insurrection Act. No doubt. Which will permit him, as a president, to deploy the military on us. Let that sink in for a second. Because then if he does that, he has control over everything. And then he can implement fear. Then he can scare us into voting for his ass again. Because we're going to go, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Seriously. And he'll be like, I got the way. I got the best way. It's a big deal. Huge deal. Huge, huge, huge deal. Wait. Wait for it. Yeah, I'm sure some people are going to think I'm crazy, but if you put all the things together and you see how he's doing, what he's doing and how he's approaching things, this man has lost his mind. And I'm the crazy one. Put it all together and let me see him actually doing something for us. He mentioned very quickly in the very beginning about George Floyd. Like it was let me just get this out of the way so we can keep moving, because I got bigger things that I'm worried about. I'm more worried about these protesters. And I want to make sure that they know that I'm going to bring in the military and I'm going to scare everybody. I'm going to control this situation. I'm going to go so hard on everybody. That's not how you do it. That's not. Instead of him being like that, he should be sitting and trying to figure things out and trying to listen to the general public, to the people. The people are saying something. They're screaming something really, 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 really loud. So much that the rest of the world is listening too, guys. If the rest of the world is listening and following in suit, something's up, yo. Secondhand biker, how do you fix this? You know, that's a very good question. And Kuda Kente, like black politicians don't care about money. No, I'm not sitting here saying that Trump is the only corrupt human being out there. I'm not sitting here saying that there are plenty of corrupt politicians. They're all the same. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? They're all in the same category. But I have not yet seen Trump do anything right now at this juncture right now. He hasn't done anything to help the situation. He's just saying, "Oh, I'm going to do this thing. Here's the warning." Which he's already doing anyway. He's already deploying the military. He's already doing that in DC. How do you fix this? And Kinger 49, absolutely. He only cares about his ego. He's got a huge ego. That's all he cares about. He cares about keeping his approval ratings high. He cares about his money. And that's all he cares about. His legacy's already been destroyed as far as his presidency. It's already been destroyed as far as being impeached and, you know, the whole impeachment trials and all that stuff. I mean, there's already an asterisk right next to his name. So as far as that goes, that's already done. But he still wants to have the power. He still wants to have the control. So he'll do anything by any means necessary to make that happen. And if he feels like he can't control the people of his own country, you never know. He might be trying to pull a Kim Jong-un. You never, ever know. Quill on Facebook said, how can they find funding to equip these cops like their soldiers and call in all the military, but not for responding to this pandemic? How are so many Americans being left out to dry during this epidemic? You know what? That is a very good question. They sit there and they go, hey, oh, I'm sorry, we don't know what to do. We don't have enough PPEs. Oh, I'm sorry. And then, yes, when all this stuff hits the fan, when ish hits the fan, then suddenly everybody and their mama has a gun and some riot gear. Plenty of that, plenty of tanks. Plenty of all that. But when it comes to the general public dealing with the Rona, by the way, do you remember about the Rona? I'm sorry. There was this thing called COVID-19 that was getting everybody sick. We had to be shut in. There was a social distancing thing. There was a stay-at-home mandate for a little while. You realize that was last week. That was a thing that happened last week, and it feels like it happened a year ago. That seems to be a forgotten thought. But yeah, just a quick reminder. Remember COVID-19? Remember that? Rona? Still around. And yet they ain't doing nothing for that. Oh, we're just going to give you stimulus checks. Oh, yeah. Where's mine? Oh, wait. It's still coming. Hold on. I'm furloughed. I need to get my unemployment check. I got bills to pay. Oh, well, yeah, you'll get it eventually. Don't worry. We got you. Funny. Kinger49 said, I don't think you're crazy, but it's not that easy to force military on states. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But at the same time, it is just funny how he is so quick to say, I'm gonna get you. Eat your vegetables. Or I'm gonna spank your bottom. It's like, come on, y'all. Here it is. He's going to get the military out there. It'll be the first time since 1807. If he implements and if he invokes the Insurrection Act, it'll be the first time since 1807. History in the making. But also you got to remember, we are watching something very, very serious. This is history in the making as well. This is basically the Civil Rights Act, the Civil Rights Movement, Part 2. Except now it's like World War III on social justice. Going through some of your comments real quick, guys. And thank you guys so much for tuning in, watching, commenting down below, being a part of the conversation. And of course, if you haven't done that yet, hit that subscribe button. That would really, really mean a lot. My show, for the new faces and the new viewers, my show goes live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And then I also do a 7 p.m. kind of 1 hour show where I just talk about things that are going on, because usually there's some breaking news, like right now, this breaking news stuff, which is very interesting to me. So yes, I do my 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, but I also do a 9 a.m. Central Standard Time show Monday through Friday. So please hit that subscribe button. And of course, like this video down below. You know what I'm saying? I know that we don't all agree on everything, but at the same time, we agree this is kind of crazy. A little bit. Let's see. And definitely give me a call. 314. I got a few more minutes left. Give me a call at 314-766-4581. Drop a dime. Let me know what you think about this situation. Do you think that Trump has the right to do this or no? Do you think he is crazy for trying to do something like this? Do you think that there's a hidden agenda? Or do you think he's absolutely in the right to do this? Definitely comment down below. Woodgrain, I totally agree. Stimulus checks ain't ish. Yep, I totally agree. Quill, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Tanu Vane, I'm glad I moved away from major cities like 2 years ago. Only the police chief was joining the protest in town, but there wasn't really anyone there to protest to. Sometimes these rural towns have some of their benefits, right? So, it's nice to have quiet sometimes, especially during these times. Trump is trying to throw a blanket over the issue rather than solving the root issue. Absolutely, Ashley. Thank you so much for commenting on Facebook. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. Trump is not addressing the situation. Absolutely, Eric. Absolutely. And he needs to. If he wants to be a president, if he wants to be presidential, he needs to literally come to terms with the fact that there needs to be a change of some sort. But I don't think he's down for that. I don't think he wants to help, man. I don't think he wants to help at all. Having the right and doing what's right is not the same thing. There has to be integrity behind it. Absolutely. Absolutely, Mr. T. Nikki, thank you. I love you too. Thank you so much for loving the channel. I really appreciate it. I love you too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, what? Angel, first off, Angel, black is beautiful and you should be proud to be black. Period. In fact, people should be proud for what race they are. God made us in his own image. God made us beautiful. All of us. Every race, color, shade under the sun. We are all beautiful. We are all made in his image. No, don't ever, ever say something like that about yourself. Ever. Ever. Hey, what's up, Mega Man? Good evening. This is so far beyond Trump. The globalist crime family kings are wanting to balkanize the USA. That is an interesting theory. That is an interesting statement. The globalist crime kings, family kings, have wanted to destroy America since 1776. In Tano vein, yes, they are. Black women are beautiful. Like I said, all women are beautiful. All people are beautiful. Zach, what's up, Zach? Commenting on YouTube. Trump doesn't pass insane executive orders or anything like the Obama administration. That's a complete different beast. Trump isn't represented by the media nicely because he's independent, not bought out. So you think, okay, so Zach, give me a call. Give me a call on that, because I'd love to see what you like. I'd like to know a little bit more about why you think Trump is such a rock star. You know, I'm not sitting here saying that he's passing anything that is insane, but I want to know if it's right. That's it. Does he really need to do that over people who are upset right now? Instead of going, at least trying to go out there and addressing everyone and saying, hey, I hear you guys. We're going to get down to the bottom of this and talk about this thing, and we're going to try to figure something out. At least play the diplomatic card. You know what I'm saying? Just slap that diplomatic card on the table and say, yo, I'm going to be presidential for a second, y'all. Let me try to do the right thing and hear what people have to say. He ain't doing that. He's just saying, I'm going to bring out the biggest hounds, bring out the biggest guns, the biggest weaponry you've ever seen. That's not helpful. That doesn't show that he's listening to anybody. That just shows that he just wants to say, I'm so powerful. Come on, man. Zachy, come on, Zach. You can't tell me that that is thoroughly thought out as something fair and concise and diplomatic. Oh, and this other thing that he doesn't do, presidential. Just saying. He's looking at them as like, he's looking at his own people like they are straight up the enemy, and it shouldn't be that. If he wants to be reelected in 2020, in November 2020, homeboy need to do a lot of work. He got to do a lot of recon work. He got to do a lot of making up, a lot of ass kissing. I said it before, the level of manipulation is, I said before, the level of manipulation is outrageous. He's actually partially our way out of this. A lot was already set up beforehand. He didn't cause the problems, not even close. You know what? I see what you're saying. There's a lot of people that say that he was going to be the one that was going to shake things up. He was going to be the rock star that was going to come in. You're going to say some certain things. He was going to do some certain things. He was going to expose things and all that stuff. I'm still waiting for those moments. But when it comes to social injustice, you have to do what you need to do as a president. Doesn't matter if you're the 45th president or the second president of the United States of America. If something happens that is not right and the people are talking, you have to show that you are listening to the people, because the people are going to be the ones that are going to be electing your ass later on. And if you show that you're not listening to your people, man, bye-bye voting. Bye-bye. Bye-bye second term. Bye-bye. You got to show like you care, at least. Aren't all presidents actors in the first place? So why can't he act like he cares then? Or something like that. Make people stop getting so upset. Listen to them speak. Try to find a solution so that we can move on in happiness, so that the country can finally reopen and everyone can start making money again. So that the economy can get back up and running. I mean, I don't think that the economy is going to bounce back from like if he was to open up today, all of America, and say everything's up and running. I don't think the economy is going to be back up to snuff by November. I really don't. I really don't think it will be. But he could at least start fixing what's going on in the social environment. And the social, like the temperature in the room right now is hot. I would love for him to turn on some fans and try to cool the room off a little bit. But him coming out and just talking mess and threatening and putting out like, ooh, I'm going to do this, doesn't help the situation, in my personal opinion. To me, that's not presidential. Eric Vandross, Trump's ego is crushed. He found out that he doesn't run the country 100. Absolutely. Facts. I agree with you on that, man. Kinger on Periscope 49. He can't win without cheating. Very, very true. Oh, man. So, but here it is, guys. Kinger 49. He is a really bad actor. You know, have you seen Home Alone 2? He had one line. You had one thing to do, Trump. It's the only part that takes me out of the whole movie. And that's a good movie, too. Anyway, moving on. Hey, guys, I got to get going, but I just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who came on, was onto the show, all that stuff. Roberto just said, not that I agree with it, but the act was last invoked in 1992 in Los Angeles during the Rodney King protest. I didn't know that. I really didn't know that. That's good to know. That is really, really good to know. You know what I mean? That is a really good thing to know. I knew that the Rodney King riots and all that were insane, like absolutely insane. So that's interesting to know that that was implemented then too. And if that was, then wow, you know, that says a lot. And there was a lot of anger back then, you know. But you know, of course, I don't know if it was something that went back all the way. Like if it spread, that whole Rodney King thing with the riots and everything, I don't know if that spread throughout America. But like I said, I don't remember. That was so long ago, and I was a little kid when that happened, you know. But that's good to know. That's very, very good to know. But the governor asked the president to help them, not this time. You know, and yes, the governor of Illinois was like, hell no, I'm not bringing out the military. You know, he was like, I'm not bringing out the National Guard. I'm not bringing out this, and this. He was like, he's terrible. He's a homophobe. He's a racist. He's this, and this. And I mean, he works close with these guys. You know, he's phone calls and all that stuff, having conversations with Trump. So, you know, if the other powers that be are saying how terrible Trump is, something's got to be a little bit true. You know, you hear enough times that R. Kelly, you know, pees on some girls, you know, eventually you're going to believe that R. Kelly really did pee on some girls. And guess what? He really did. So after some time, you know, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck, you know? So anyway, Yes, you did miss the beginning of it, Mega Man. I mean, I started at 7, but it's okay. I will be back on tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. So for all the people that came on today, thank you so much for tuning in, man. Y'all are amazing. For everybody who called in, Chris Collins, thank you so much for calling in all the way from Illinois. You know, I'm trying to keep these phone lines open more often, you know, because like I said, you know, I love hearing you guys' opinions. I like hearing you all. I like hearing your voices. And, you know, I like to engage in these debates and these conversations and help people if they need help, you know, with anything, the whole nine. You know, this is what the platform is made for, to talk about things and argue and laugh and cry and all that stuff, you know. So anyway, I have to get going, but if you haven't done it yet, hit that like button underneath the feed right now. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that like button on the Pascal Show page, please. And if you haven't done it yet as well, please go follow us on Instagram, The Pascal Show. Please go right now, go to Instagram, find it. It's very easy, The Pascal Show, one word. Crush that follow button. That would really, really mean a lot. Anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Roberto, Mossy, Ducky, Nikki, Debbie. What's up, Debbie? Woodgrain, Dave. Let's see. Free Radio. What's up? I missed you, man. Shoot. Everybody that came on, huge shout out to everybody who was a part of the conversation. Zach as well, Kinger on Periscope. Follow me on Twitter, please. We do this 9 a.m. Central Standard Time and 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. But anyway, I do got to get going. I appreciate all of you. Have a safe and wonderful night. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Sex, money, power, respect. All of us have in this scrutiny. All of you people different to me.
Take up in glass.
The festival is crazy in the streets. Deception, the fakers and leaks. Entertainers are trucking for tweakers and losing their suckers and nothing unique. All of us under surveillance. We wasn't feeling they made it. Half of them stumbling around and they faded. They live in the world that's degraded for people that's constantly hated.
But you see how he makes these S's in his body right here? That's where he's hanging on, and then he's moving forward with the locomotion of his ribs. That is classic Missouri rat snake right there. I mean, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab him before he gets into a hole. Now, these snakes are not biters. They won't bite as long as you don't squeeze them. If you just stop them like this, it'll freeze them, and then you just gently pull them back. As long as you don't squeeze them, they won't bite.
Yo, Mike, what's up, man?
Guy? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, so Sugar Fire.
Yeah.
Fully open, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much open. So you can't sit inside yet. Monday you can sit inside a little bit. We'll have 25% of the tables inside, and then we're letting it rip outside.
So I know that there's a lot of people really concerned about staying safe and all of that.
No,
so what are you guys doing in regards to that?
Well, we have extra people to clean and rub everything down all the time. Everybody inside's wearing masks. And we have those little stickers on the ground so everyone can stay 6 feet apart.
Right on.
The tables are all spaced out, inside and outside.
Sugar Fire, open in full effect right now. They're staying healthy, they're staying clean. Go get you a rack of ribs. Sugar Fire, open right now.